The world's tale unfolds just as the Demon King begins a full-scale invasion, throwing everything into chaos. Nations fall one by one, including the once mighty Gargan Empire, known for its vast armies of humanoid warriors. As elves, dwarfs, and humans are pushed to the brink, they unify in a desperate attempt to hold back extinction. A final counteroffensive is launched. An elite suicide squad infiltrates the Demon King's castle for a last-ditch assassination attempt. After an intense, bloody battle, the Demon King is finally brought down. As the surviving members prepare to escape, they stumble upon something terrifying: a mysterious girl bound in chains, guarded by two monstrous demons. One of the heroes, Theron, recognizes her and chooses to stay behind, urging his comrades, Kyle and Ursa, to escape without him. As they flee through the castle halls, they enter a chamber housing a strange crimson crystal. Kyle approaches, but magical projectiles rain down from above. Though he blocks most with his sword, one hits him directly, leaving him vulnerable. In that moment, Ursa steps between Kyle and danger, using the last of her magic to shield him, sacrificing herself. As she fades into nothingness, their attacker finally steps forward, revealing his true, winged form before Kyle's eyes. Burning with fury and sorrow, Kyle charges headlong toward the enemy, driven by a desperate need for revenge. Though he lands a strike, it barely phases the winged demon, who responds by hurling enhanced, razor-sharp feathers at him with no mercy, giving Kyle no time to react. His sword spirit speaks up, revealing that the attack is a forbidden technique known as elimination, a powerful and unblockable spell that wipes out anything in its path. Realizing he won't survive the next onslaught, Kyle chooses to go all in. He unlocks the full potential of the gemstone embedded in his sword. The spirit doesn't stop him; if anything, it stands by Kyle's decision, ready to risk everything to defend its master. Kyle calls upon his most powerful technique, channels every last ounce of energy into the blade, and drives it into the demon with full force. The strike hits its mark, ending the demon's existence, and with it, the sword's life as well. The battlefield falls quiet. Kyle is the only one left standing. Peace has returned, but it came at a steep cost. His village, his companions, everyone he cared about, they're all gone. With no reason left to keep fighting, Kyle drops to his knees, prepared to surrender to despair. But before he can close his eyes, the crimson crystal nearby begins to glow violently. Realizing it might be dangerous, he drags himself up one last time and heads toward it, hoping to stop whatever disaster it might cause. But as soon as his fingers make contact with the crystal, everything vanishes into darkness. When he opens his eyes again, he's stunned to find himself lying in bed, his own bed, in his own room. Nothing makes sense. Desperate for answers, he hurries to the window, only to see his city standing untouched. The city that should have been reduced to ash is perfectly fine. Tears fall down Kyle's face as he starts to believe this must be a cruel hallucination. Then, the door creaks open. His childhood friend, Lisa, walks in casually, telling him to stop lazing around and come downstairs already. Kyle freezes. Lisa's alive. She has no idea why he's staring like that. Thinking he might be sick, she walks up to him to check, only for Kyle to wrap her in a tight embrace. He's just grateful to see her breathing again. She blushes, flustered, assuming he's either acting weird or still half asleep. When she tries to pull away, he hugs her even tighter. This awkward moment ends up with both of them falling back onto the bed. Kyle is left red-faced, while Lisa regains her composure, smacks him hard in the gut, and yells that she needs time to make sense of whatever that was. She tells him she has to mentally prepare herself for whatever he's planning and storms out after calling him a baka. Winded and holding his stomach, Kyle suddenly pauses. He can feel pain, real pain, which means this isn't a dream. That's when he notices something under the blanket. Lifting it up, he finds the crimson crystal glowing faintly beside him. It hits him; the crystal must have sent him back, before the invasion ever began. Looking into the mirror, he sees a much younger version of himself staring back. He glances down at his body and realizes there's not a single scratch on him, which convinces him that this isn't some kind of illusion. Looking out the window, he notices the land has returned to its normal state. And more importantly, Lisa, the woman he loved most, is alive. With that, he begins to believe he's somehow been transported back in time. Still, he's not sure if the magic stone alone could actually have that kind of power. While pondering all this, his stomach growls, reminding him he hasn't eaten. He hurries off in search of food and is pleasantly surprised to find the dining table full. Lisa had cooked a complete meal. The sight instantly brings back memories of when Lisa would often help him and his mother with meals. Not wasting any time, he digs in and devours every single dish. It doesn't take long for him to clean the entire table. Just then, his brother Theron walks in, ready for breakfast, only to find the table completely empty. The idea that Kyle finished everything stuns Theron, but he shrugs it off since it's Kyle's birthday, even if Kyle doesn't consider that a proper gift. Seeing Theron, Kyle is reminded of the fight they were caught in just before he died. Theron leaves the room to take care of his own hunger, while Kyle, now almost certain he's really back in the past, goes to get answers. He seeks out his mother, who, like in the life he remembers, spends most of her time in the underground library. She'd been up reading all night, unaware of the time. Without addressing that, Kyle jumps right into asking her a question. Since she's an archmage, he hopes she'll have the answer he needs. He asks whether a spell to travel through time actually exists, and she confirms that it does. But before he can get too hopeful, she explains how rare and complicated it is. It demands an extraordinary amount of magical energy, far more than even the strongest mags can muster. Kyle then asks if a magical item could possibly hold such vast energy, and his mother acknowledges the possibility. However, she adds that such an item would need to store power accumulated over centuries, or be charged by the loss of countless lives. In this case, the demonic attacks had caused enough death to flood the stone with power, and that might have been what sent Kyle back. Kyle's mother brings him a book containing the image of the only magical object known to store such energy. Unsurprisingly, it matches the very stone Kyle now possesses. It turned out to be the fabled Divine Dragon's Heart, an artifact thought to have vanished over a millennium ago. The revelation clears up all the doubts Kyle had, and he feels genuinely grateful for the chance to reconnect with his mother, especially after having lost her in his previous life. She, on the other hand, is proud of the maturity he now shows, unaware that the boy in front of her carries memories and wisdom from someone 10 years older. After they finish their heartfelt exchange, she gets up, intending to prepare a meal. But when Kyle gently points out there's no food left, she simply offers the Divine Dragon's Heart to him as a birthday present, just like Theron had done before. Later, Kyle finds a quiet spot and takes another look at the artifact. He reflects on what his past self would have hoped for him to change. That's when Diesel appears, and he quickly apologizes for what happened that morning. He awkwardly explains that a strange dream had made him act oddly. He dreamt she had been isekai'd, which somehow made him hold on to her. Oddly enough, this makes Diesel feel touched, and she accepts the apology. She even wishes him a happy birthday. As he stares into her eyes, painful memories come flooding back, specifically, the moment of her tragic end. Their town had been the nearest human settlement to demon territory, and when the demons launched their first assault, her town was the initial target. He remembers the moment she drew her last breath. It had haunted him ever since. He swore vengeance that day. Lost in thought, he's soon brought back to the present as Diesel gently pulls him back to reality. The two sit together, watching the sunset. But Kyle is fully aware, 3 years from now, chaos will return when the demons launch their assault. He silently vows to prevent it this time, even if it means rewriting everyone's future. He won't allow history to repeat itself. That night, Kyle stays up writing down everything he can remember about the future. He considers warning people about the impending threat, but deep down, he knows no one would take him seriously. So, with no other choice, he commits to facing the Demon King himself, even if right now, he's just a shadow of who he used to be. Weak or not, he draws his sword, determined to see if he still has what it takes. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for the next part.